The age of majority is 16 in Scotland. It used to be 21 in the US until the 1970s. It still is 21 in the state of Mississippi, 19 in Nebraska, and 19 in Alabama. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and I really need my script. Youth rights. What are youth rights? The National Youth Rights Association defines youth rights as the rights that everyone should have, but that youth don't. Though interpretations vary, possible rights include the right to vote, at least at an earlier age, the right to not be subject to physical punishments, also known as violence, and the right to privacy, the right to make decisions, the right to be outdoors, the right to have or not have a job with money we control, the right to choose aspects of our education, the right to control our own bodies, the right to speech, and the right to read. In the United States, youth have very limited rights, instead at the complete or most whims of their parents or schools and the government. No matter how an individual youth petitions, police and the law will by default back up parents and institutions, ignoring any rights the young person could be argued to have. We already covered some of it, but why are youth rights? Fundamentally, hang on, let me get a little more up here. Fundamentally, youth are people. Once we hit a certain developmental stage, we are able to read, write, speak fluently most of the time. Some youth in multiple languages. We can fully form opinions, feel or not feel emotions, and do most everything adults can. We deserve rights just like everybody else does. Like in everything, the specifics are more complicated. What exactly should the voting age be, or should it even work that way? What about drugs and alcohol? But regardless of specific viewpoints, it's very important to discuss expanded rights for youth. The concept of parental rights gets far more attention than the concept of youth rights does. For that matter, specific youth rights topics are covered with a modicum of frequency but rarely connected. These youth rights adjacent concepts include children's rights, LGBTQ youth rights, usually focusing on the right to privacy, youth advocacy against climate change or something, and sometimes students' rights. They're part of the youth rights movement, and in no way bad, but they're parts lacking a whole, well-defined subcategories of youth rights, despite youth rights barely being a category. And there's my parents. Okay, all right. I ran to the library. Okay. So now I can record. I'm back. I'm at reserved room. I'm in the library. I printed my script out on this cardboard. And so now we are going to start recording. I don't have my script. I do. It's right here. This is not a prop. It is the script.
Restart.
Are
you currently recording?
This is part of the bit, and you're not part of the bit.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying this bit sucks. I'm saying this bit sucks. Congratulations.
I hope you got some comedic relief from that, because the kids that we're going to be covering don't get any sort of relief. It is my opinion that the very worst youth rights violations are a product of an entirely broken system, with total control to parents and whatever parents wish. The most horrifying example of this is the troubled teen industry. Parents sign forms giving the individual TTI all rights to the child the parent already has, so, all of them, and then the individual is legally taken without their consent or prior knowledge, often from their bed, taken to a facility, often crossing state or sometimes even country lines, for more favorable legislation and whatever. After that, the details vary, but are very traumatizing for the youth and often include things like restraints and forced labor as punishment, malnutrition, injury, or even death. This issue absolutely deserves a whole video. The point for this one: these abuses against various youth are not just individual cases of abuse, but products of a broken system, a systemic problem coming from the way youth are treated and classified in this society. The solution for all of these problems isn't just reduction of these specific injustices. We don't just have to close down abusive facilities that profit off harming youth. We don't just have to regulate to reduce the amount of abuse teenagers and children suffer in and out of facilities. We have to increase the rights that young people have and decrease the barriers to getting them. We have to be advocating for different, more reasonable perceptions of how young people are and how we could be without the world against us. We have to be advocating for real solutions and real rights instead of little tiny band-aids or improving specific situations. There's no way to really fix this, that doesn't increase the rights of youth over our lives and bodies. Life won't improve for us without decreasing parents' and schools' control over youth. The issue of how youth are treated legally and culturally today is vast and awful, and this video cannot describe it, and it just compounds for youth part of another discriminated against group. Who are youth rights? We mentioned the National Youth Rights Association, and that's an organization I'm a part of. It's perhaps inactive, but very much not dead. There's various European youth rights organizations and some active bloggy organizations and websites. There are many organizations against the troubled teen industry, including We Warn Them, Unsilenced, and others. So when are youth rights? Youth rights is soon, hopefully. You could argue youth rights was 1971, when the voting age in the US was federally lowered from 21 to 18. With the 26th Amendment. Soon causing all states but 3, there's that beginning again, Mississippi, Alabama, and Nebraska, contact the lawmakers or whatever, to lower their age of majority to 18. There's actually some really interesting history on that. It was like youth activists during the Vietnam War, Students for a Democratic Society, if you want to look that up. Where 18-year-olds could be drafted in, but the age of majority was 21. In Scotland, youth rights is kind of now, as since 1991, the full age of majority is 16. Many rights are afforded to people age 16 in England as well, including the right to leave home, open a bank account without parental consent, and medical autonomy. I'd imagine how other countries talk about youth would also be different, especially considering the amount of European youth organizations. The United States should not be behind on this issue. While these countries have many differences, if the age of majority is chilling at 16 in Scotland, why wouldn't it work over here? I want to do a whole video on the history of youth rights and the age of majority and variation by country or jurisdiction, because there's some really interesting stuff there. Where are youth rights? Digitally, youth rights is the best place for youth rights. That's true. Digitally, r/youth rights is the most active place for it right now. You can find the links to several youth rights organizations below, as well as a list of youth rights organizations at underdevelopedprefrontalcortex.github.io. Yeah. How are youth rights? The youth rights movement seems dormant right now, but there are people that advocate and support expanded youth rights, and they might just need to get connected. Every movement has unique challenges. For example, aging out of the movement seems to be a common problem, though of course you can still be a supporter. The youth rights movement will have its day, it actually already does, its month and its era. Stay safe out there and stay talking.